Okay. Yeah. Yes, mic is on. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Good evening. Namaste. Okay. Okay. So, my name is Hariharan Iyer, and I am the co-author of this book, Eves Against the Odds, and I'm also the host for the evening. So Bhavesh has ensured that I'm working really hard today. You know, apart from presenting myself as an author and also being your host. So I think first of all, very, very warm welcome and thank you very much for being here on this very special day with all of us. We have some absolutely amazing dignitaries who have joined us, and also we have few of our Eves who have been covered in this book. So I think nothing can be more special than that for us. And of course, each one of you who has taken the time out to be with us today, to bless this occasion and to release the second volume of Eves Against the Odds. So we have a power-packed evening. Please do not leave because I don't know if I should say this, but there are snacks and tea also at the end. हाँ नहीं तो फिर वो लोग खा पी के चले जाते हैं, तो हमने सोचा कि एंड में रखते हैं. So even and you're definitely going to find this evening very interesting. The discussions we're going to have very interesting. But even if you don't find it interesting, the snack box and the tea is quite interesting. Yeah? So you will still have some great memories to go back to. Right. So what I think is let's do a. You see, I run a company, Hariharan School of Success Education, HSSC. So it's a training and development company, and we never start a session without an ice-breaking activity, right? So what we thought we'd do is like little icebreaker activity here. You know, there's always this किस्सा कुर्सी का in our country. एक बार बैठ जाते हैं लोग खड़े ही नहीं होते. So what I request is, if we can all stand up for a minute. Yeah, all of you can please stand up for a minute and just turn to your right and to your left and look at the person and say Namaste, welcome to the program. Yeah? Can you please do that?
She does not have anybody on her right and left. क्या करोगे?
And welcome to the program. And if your neighbor is not doing it, please pinch that neighbor. And if you are a male and you are standing next to a lady, don't pinch her. Just request her. Okay? Just request her. Okay? So are you all sure that everyone participated wholeheartedly in this little activity? Yeah? So let's do it one more time. Yeah? To your right and to your left. Can you please go Namaste? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And also, if you can just turn around, you know, if you can, especially the front row ladies, the people at the front row, turn around and please say hi and a namaste to everybody at the back. Yeah? Thank you so much. Please take your seat. Thank you so much. That's nice to get some energy going in the room. And there's still one more activity to be done. But I'm not going to make you stand now. My humble request is, can we all give a wonderful applause for this great evening that we have gathered here? Come on, guys, take a very big round of applause. Now, before we go to the formal opening of this session, I think this whole thing would not have been possible without the amazing ladies whose stories have been featured in this book. And obviously we will have an opportunity to hear them, meet them later on. But can I request, in both the volumes put together, all the wonderful Eves who have been covered in the book, can you please stand up and take an applause from all of us? Can you please stand up and take an applause from all of us? Can we make you really loud? Can we make you really loud? much. We have covered stories of 50 amazing women entrepreneurs from across India and also based in Singapore, also in Dubai. And Charu, thank you so much for coming all the way from Dubai. She took longer to reach from Andheri to Bandra than she took from Dubai to Mumbai. So welcome to Mumbai. Welcome back to Mumbai. This is your city. Yeah. So it's so wonderful. I mean, it's so amazing. Such a great feeling for me to be standing here and doing this little service for all of you. It's fantastic. It's a great moment. And the reason I wanted all of us to clap for these ladies is because, and there are a few others who are ladies who have contributed to the whole process. We will come to them a little later. But I just thought, without you ladies, this book would not have been possible. And our conviction has only gone up now that we should never write a book about male entrepreneurs. It should always be only about women entrepreneurs. It seems to get male audience also in leaps and bounds. Yes, one day I hope we can write a series called Adams Against the Odds. Yeah? So we will do that. So yeah, that's not very far. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's kind of formally inaugurate our evening for the day. Can I request Vinita Singhal ma'am, Amisha ji, Bhavesh Kothari, Meenal Kothari to please come on the stage. Can you please come on the stage? And we've got this very little lamp, we don't have a big showcase, we've got a small lamp. We can just light the lamp and we can get it. Yeah, you can hold it and we can do that. I think that would be wonderful. Yeah. Bhavesh, anybody I'm missing? You also? Yeah. I'll be there. Yes. So thank you so much for this beautiful beginning. We just want to share with all of you that this is just the beginning of a multi-city launch that we are doing. We are off to Pune tomorrow to do a launch at the Midas Entrepreneurship School, and then we are off to Ahmedabad on next Saturday at the GCCI. Then we are also planning in Mathura, Noida, and Delhi. So all that are in the pipeline. Yeah. And Gurgaon also. Yeah, Delhi, Gurgaon. Yeah. Delhi, Gurgaon. Okay. So I always look at Delhi plus NCR. So it's like that. So ladies and gentlemen, today we really have the honor of having Vinita ji in our presence, and she is the IAS Honorary Principal Secretary, Labour Department, Government of Maharashtra. We have been very fortunate in the sense that the first volume we had a foreword from Ms. Sanju Sharma, who is also a very senior bureaucrat in the government of Gujarat. So we have had this great fortune of having people of this pedigree, this quality, and this kind of experience, and amazing work that they are doing to be on our platform and inspire us. She has held so many positions in her career, and obviously for a common man like us, ma'am, it's very rare for us to come across a senior bureaucrat. So it's wonderful to have your presence with us. It's a delight if you could just come and please address all of us and bless this occasion. Let's have a round of applause for Geeta.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where to begin basically because most of the ladies who are already here and accompanied by gentlemen, I would like to believe that, are already success stories. So when you talk to a person who's already a success story, it's a very difficult game. But having said that, I would say that now the responsibility rests on our shoulders, considering that at least 50% of us have grey hair now, that we need to prepare the younger generation for taking up the next roles and preparing them to take up the entrepreneurship roles in their lives. If I were to talk about our country, I had studied a lot for today for talking about the international scenario, what's happening in other economies, other countries, but I would rather restrict myself to what is happening in India. Two things which are going to mark our future is that the government is restricting its role. We have for the last 75 years carried on the legacy of the British government, and the British government was all about controlling everything. They controlled the trade, they controlled the police, they controlled administration, they controlled the ports, they controlled even entertainment sector, the revenue sector, every sector you name it, and they controlled it. For the obvious reason that maximization of profit was their only aim. Human development of the country, taking care of the land, was never an issue with them. It was always taking care of their own profits. Don't blame them, they were an external power, and that's what they did across the globe. So the point is that for 75 years we carried that legacy. And suddenly we realized that government cannot be everywhere and everywhere. And this thought has been penetrating in the last 10 years. So what has happened is that various sectors have now opened up. And we have realized that the best governments are the ones that govern the least. So the government is going to be there only in the critical sectors. And what do we define as critical sectors? Critical sectors would be defense, it would be transport, it would be the critical factors without which the country cannot survive, basically speaking. Where does that leave the rest of us? Now it basically means that trade, commerce, ports, airlines, transport, all these sectors are going to be fairly competitive and open, and they will be driven by the market economies. It will be the push and the pull factors which will be running these areas. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have to compete at the global level. I don't believe there is an industry now, even a small MSME or a lady somewhere in the village making small kandils. We are not living in our regional economies, we are not living in a national economy anymore. Come Diwali, you will see, and since my office is at Nariman Point, I see that 90% of the lights and the kandils, which you see from the houses, are Chinese made. So even your Diwali is not your own. 90% of the Ganeshas which are coming into the market are Chinese made. So even the small buttons that you put on your shirts, the laces that you put, the shoes that you wear, you go to any shop, any good, when you go to Zara, you go to any shop, and you just turn the labels. The shirts are coming from Vietnam, from Cambodia, from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka. They're not even anything. I mean, go to a store like Old Navy, which we have all grown up with. I mean, at least people of my generation have grown up with, And Old Navy has shirts and t-shirts which have been made somewhere in like some third world country. So nothing is now considered to be sacrosanct, and nothing has the political boundaries of the country. So now the trade is opening up to such an extent that even the smallest consumables to the highest consumables, to the highest amount of technological drives, nothing is bound by the political boundaries. And this is the scenario where the trade is moving. And this is the scenario where we Indians have adapted, learned very well, dominated certain industries, and I'm proud to say that we have dominated certain industries, and that is where we have to live. But The challenge always is that we have to keep pace with the rest of the world and lead the world at its own pace. We don't get to set the pace. We don't set the technological innovations. Somewhere down, somebody is having sleepless nights doing something with which we'll have to catch up in a day or so. And we don't really have time to do that. And thirdly and most importantly, the finances. We always have to look for and forge for our own finances. If you think FDI is coming for you, if you think that people are going to pour in money for you because they love you, forget it. It's not happening. It might have happened say 20 years, 30 years down the line when political considerations were important, when US was supporting us or USSR was supporting us, those kind of political scenarios, nothing. Today, Ukraine and Russia are at war. If it had been like 25 years ago, we would all have been concerned. Today, any one of you is concerned? Not at all. When we talk about the Russia and the Ukraine war, what we are talking about is the price of petroleum, the price of electricity in the entire Europe. We are talking about the exports which are going to Ukraine. We are talking about the Indians stuck in Ukraine. Anybody is talking about what is happening in Russia and what is happening in Ukraine? It's not. It's a paradigm shift that has happened. In that scenario, in India now, trade is completely competitive. Our performance is completely competitive. Production is completely competitive. And please get me right, not in the context of our own state or in the context of our own nation. It is in the context of the entire world. WTO is a nightmare or a dream for some, but it is here to stay. It's not going to go away. This is where the world stands. And now, here is where we have to find our roots as entrepreneurs. And frankly speaking, men entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs, there are very little difference in terms as far as the government goes. Only thing is that we tend to be a little more sympathetic and tend to do a little more, and please don't quote me on this, but we do only lip sympathy as far as women are concerned. Giving them 0.5% tax benefit, 0.5% this benefit, 2% this benefit. In the real terms, it is not very substantive as far as I am concerned. But I am not looking for SOPs. As a woman, I am not looking for SOPs. Only thing that I am looking for as a woman entrepreneur is a level playing field, and for me not to be completely discarded at the first ladder because I am a woman. That is the only thing that we are looking at. Give me a level playing field, and that is where the women stand. I would never press for special concessions and privileges because I'm a woman. I would prefer concessions and privileges from the government because I'm competitive and I can hold my head high in a particular trade, be a man or a woman. That is something that I personally believe in. The going is tough, absolutely no doubt about it. The entire world is struggling, absolutely no doubt about it. All the women entrepreneurs who have been named in the book, I have not had the fortune of going through the book. I intend to do it as soon as I can lay my hands on it. But I'm sure they have had a tough journey. But believe me, each one of us has had it. Congratulations, you ladies, you made it. There must have been many who have not made it. But at the end of the day, every person out here, rich, poor, male, female, any other distinction that you can think about, nobody has had it easy in life. Only thing I can tell you is that law of averages prevails in life. And the law of averages says you win some, you lose some. Nobody has ever had a totally disgusting life and nobody has ever had a totally happy life. We all have our ups and downs. We all go through crises. We all face financial issues. We all face domestic issues. And when women come to me saying, "आता मला खूपच गरज आहे मॅडम बाई म्हणून विचार करा ना," and I look at her and say, "कि my husband struggles as much as I do." So बाई म्हणून विचार करणार नाही, माणूस म्हणून विचार करेल. And that's what it is. I have yet to come across, I have had the best of friends. So I would say that very rarely have I come across a person or a man who doesn't care for his parents, who doesn't care for his wife, who doesn't fall sick, who doesn't have to take leave. It doesn't happen. And across the globe it doesn't happen. Everybody has domestic issues. All men have to face problems just as the same as women have to face the problems. Everybody learns to live with them, to deal with them. Same happens in businesses. All businesses go through crises, ups, downs, everything. But women have to handle it, men have to handle it. And the solutions basically remain the same. Solutions, whether they are financial or administrative, they generally remain the same. So I would rather say that women entrepreneurs, they have it a little bit tough because Because initially to adjust to the world of the business world and initially to get a niche for yourself is a little difficult. But once you are there and once you have proved yourself, then all these issues, whether you are a male or a female, generally go in the background. That has been my experience. And then only your ability, your strengths, and your capability of taking the business forward stands. And that is what my experience has been. So ladies who have made it to this book, congratulations. I am really, really very happy for your success. Hope you encourage and mentor more and more girls into the business world, because two things very clear. Each one of us has to fend for ourselves now. The concept as far as, and since all of us are Mumbaikars in one way or the other, even in the hinterland of the country, the concept of housewife is practically dead. There are going to be no more housewives 5 years, 10 years down the line. At least all the kids who are in the age of 20 to 25, there's nothing known as a housewife anymore. So everybody has to fend for themselves. The jobs have to be created. Best create it for yourself. As it has always been said, and as that crazy book which I think every kid has read, Rich Dad Poor Dad, says, don't earn money for others, earn money for yourself. And so that's the mantra, that should be the mantra for all the young girls. All the ladies are present in the room. Since you have made it big in life, I would request you that teach that to each and every girl down in the street, even to the lady who's doing jharu katka at your house. If she has a daughter, tell her that she has to fend for herself, and there is going to be no husband, no boyfriend, no XYZ who's going to come and fend for you, because he will have a difficult time fending for himself. Everybody has to do it on their own. Entrepreneurship is all about skills. It's all about learning the right things, learning the right solutions, finding the right paths. And it is a lot of hard work. Not to mention, it is about a lot of education. No matter what anybody tells you, I would seriously believe that all the MBA courses, whether it is from the poorest of the universities or whether it is from Harvard, they only teach you one thing. If there is a problem, there have to be solutions. If there are no solutions, you find them. You invent them. That is what all the management schools tell you. So that is what I say. Education is the key, not only to girls, but also to all the boys. Take time to educate yourself and keep educating yourself. I got into civil services in 1996. I was doing my MPhil. I had to drop it because I was not allowed to leave the academy and make a presentation in front of the board, the university board. So I had to drop my MPhil. I had done MA in English literature by that time, and my MPhil, and I was appearing for I was to go in for PhD and pursue my professorship in Delhi University. Could not happen. Life took a different turn. As soon as I got into civil services, after that I have completed post-graduation in human rights. I have done MBA in public finance. I was just mentioned to my friend, I have finished law. And I was asking her for guidance to take care and want to learn more about corporate law. The whole idea of telling you all this is that education never stops. And ladies, you keep educating yourself, because the more you educate yourself, the more primed you are for finding the solutions for the real life problems as and when they strike you. Because the problems do not come with a time frame. A problem is today, the answer should be yesterday. That's what happens in business. It happens everywhere. It happens in our lives also. In bureaucracy. But a lot of people say that bureaucrats have it easy. We have it easy because nobody's throwing us out of our jobs. That's what you believe. It is not a fact. We get thrown about, kicked about, just as much as you guys. It's life. Nobody has it easy. Yeah. But you have to learn to live with it, you have to learn to deal with it, and the problems are there for everybody. And the solutions are in our education, are in our experience, and we have to take it forward. So ladies, don't think that you're going to have it any easy because you are a lady. Don't think you're going to have it any tougher because you are a lady. It's a competitive world which is happening. The world is opening up. The whole scenario is changing. The government is changing. And if I were to talk about my department only, and labor constitutes a very important part of any industry, anywhere, any sector, primary, secondary, tertiary, any sector. We are doing away with all the legislations with the labor department. We have 29 sets of laws and regulations, including the most dreaded, the Factories Act, also your standing orders, also your PAF and things like that. There are 29 different legislations which govern the labor sector. We had, at one stroke of the parliament, we did away with everything. There are 4 codes coming in. And the 4 codes are the one which will put us in league with any country who's a signatory of WTO, whether it is US, USSR, Canada, China, anywhere. So we are coming to power with them. There's something called fixed term employment. Anybody who has worked or lived in US knows it completely. The dreaded pink slip system, because you're on a fixed term employment, you go for a project, you work for a project, couple of months, couple of years, and then you're out of it. Simple as that. Same is coming to India. Now we have introduced the concept of fixed term employment. You're onboarded for a project over, job over. And you're out in the market again. And you have to survive on your own capabilities to do it. And same for you people also. If you have taken up a project, you will not be burdened with the liability of a person to continue with or without any performance from his side. Because you have hired him for a particular set of things to do. He does his things, he gets his remuneration, and it moves on. That is what fixed term employment is all about. So all those changes are happening in our country. We have to learn to deal with them, take it forward, consider it positively. So these are the things that are going to affect the entire trade as well as the manufacturing, as well as all the industrial scenario which is developing. So women, you just have to look for the opportunity. As soon as you find one, grab one and go ahead. That is my only advice to you. And whatever is possible, only thing we can do for each other is stand by each other. Learn from each other's experiences, support each other morally, emotionally, financially, psychologically, and also educationally. That is the most important thing I can say. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Thanks, friends.
We are making a note of how loudly you are clapping, so we will hold back the stack boxes. For those who don't clap with enthusiasm, so can we have a big round of applause for Nancy? Thank you so much. And one of the great takeaways, ma'am, from your talk was the focus on education. And we at Millennium Divas, Eves Against the Odds as a brand, that's where we need a lot of your support also. We'd like to come and meet you and share with you what we are planning. We have already launched the eCube Academy, the entrepreneurship, Eve's Entrepreneurship Excellence Academy, which is dedicated only for developing women entrepreneurs. So we want to conduct the right kind of courses for them, training programs for them. So that's something on the anvil. So you struck a very beautiful note and the right chord when you said that you need to focus on education. So I think that's one way. And we all know that barring Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, nobody else is making money by selling books. I can take some liberties with Dr. Radhakrishnan. So the whole idea is not to, of course we want these books to sell and we want to make money through the books, but more importantly, we want the book to become a kind of a process for us to do bigger things, so that's what the whole idea is. Yeah, so kya karna hai, sir? Laptop. Okay. Sorry for the little disruption. We will come back to the laptop business a little later. Gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome one of our guest of honors right now. We have one more very esteemed guest of honor whom I will introduce her a little later. And she is a very integral part of this book also. But for the moment, I would like to please invite Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai on stage. We all know him as the author of the Chanakya book of series, and we take liberties with Dr. Radhakrishnan because in our mind you are not a great author, you are a dear friend. So we take liberties with you, sir. And I remember one conversation I had with him when I released one of my books, and I requested him to be a chief guest. And I asked him, how much money will you take? He said 25 lakhs. And he said, Hari, if you're going to ask me such stupid questions, I'm going to quote you some very stupid figures. So I'm just going to come and support you. Don't bother about that fact. So that's the beauty of you, sir. And thank you so much for being with us today. So, sir, if you can just come and share your wisdom with all of us. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Bhavesh. I'll tell you how to make money out of books.
Register into my course.
In fact, the problem is that people don't ask me that question. They take it as a joke. Actually, I made a lot of money. And I'll tell you a secret. You want to know it? In some small tips. I asked him how much time you have. It was 5 minutes. Okay, how many of you heard about negative capital? It's a very interesting term. Many people don't understand in India. Especially we don't understand in our generation. You make money even before you start the work. iPhone 14 किसके पास है अभी? So you know how iPhone makes money even before they sell the product. Advance. So there is a method, but here right now it's not about selling books and making money. So I'll tell you a joke which I read and it really changed my life. I worked on it. And ma'am, you are mesmerizing. You said a lot of hard work, but not just hard work, but a lot of strategy around it. And the thing I learned from America how to make money in India. Okay, so the joke goes, there was a very successful author in America. He was asked, "Oh, you made a lot of money by writing books." So he said, "Yeah, with books I made a lot of money, no doubt about it." So how much money did you make? Like $10 million. So the what $10 million? By writing books and selling books? No, that's a misconception. I got only $1 million by writing books, the royalty. $9 million by speaking on the book. And this is a almost 20-year-old story, okay? I know of authors who actually made a 5 crore advance deal before even writing the book. It's happening in India. So it's really a series about making money. I'll tell you there is methods of it. And ma'am, when you're talking about bureaucracy, I know a bureaucrat who left his permanent job only to write books for a long term as a career. And he's a very famous guy. His name is Anand Neelkanth. Have you heard about it? He was working in Indian Oil Corporation. He was heading a very big division. And all his family were like, "Kya bakwas kar rahe ho kya?" And he wrote the Bahubali series. So think about books mein paisa hai. How many of your children want to be authors? Forget your generation. I'm telling you that's a different story, but let me come back to 2 questions. How many from Delhi here? Delhi. How many from Bangalore? We are Mumbai girls. I'll tell you why these 2 cities are very close to my heart, apart from Mumbai, because I'm a Mumbai girl. In Delhi there is a very famous hotel. And that hotel branch is there in Mumbai also, but in Delhi it's very, very famous. It's called Lalit Hotel. Heard about the hotel? Many people don't know the story of the hotel. How many of you heard about Bangalore's very famous company called CCD? Yes. Yeah. What is CCD? Okay. You know what is common among both these? The husband dies when the woman takes over.
Exactly.
And you know in Delhi, Lalit is more prestigious than Taj. In Delhi, you can understand that. And both turnaround stories of women without any formal understanding of business turned around a business which can be globally competitive. I had an opportunity to actually release a book on CCD after Siddhartha died and what his wife is doing. Many people don't even know about it. Yeah. So Lalit, the hotel, if you ever go over there next time, Delhi में वहाँ पे रुकना थोड़ा costly है. And I love Taj. I'm a member of Taj. But let me tell you, in Delhi, which is supposed to be the showcasing city, right? The turnaround happened because of a woman taking over the leadership position and saying that we also can do it. Why not? And believe me, it's amazing. Now, why am I telling you all these things? Because the book is on women entrepreneurship. To be very frank, I don't believe that gender and entrepreneurship goes hand in hand. It is the only country in the world which has not only spoken about men and women, but also thought about the third generation, third gender, Napusakalinga. You know, it is just going to catch up very soon. Transgender we have included here. And we have transgender leaders in our Puranas also. Shikhandi. So I think we are just trying to catch up or aid the West, as you rightly pointed out, man. We are only a British legacy. But Indianization is about all genders and beyond genders. So I'll just share two things in my personal life. And I'll tell you, please follow this in your personal lives, starting with your family. Do you think India, a woman needs to be empowered? Oh yeah, my speech is over. And let me tell you again, I remember this thought. I am a director of the Bombay University. Many of you may know this. I run an academic institution. And there was a girl, one of my students, and she had worn a very nice t-shirt. And you know, t-shirts have nice messages also. So it said very nicely, I don't want to be equal to men. In bracket, why should I degrade myself? You already know that. And this has been discovered in our country many generations ago. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit because I come from the Chanakya thing. Na? And the past में बहुत study है. I study the past to create the future. Achha, let me tell you, the woman empowerment that we're talking about is an American and a Western model. But there were a lot of women issues in our country. And what we have today is not very easy. Now let's go back a little bit in time. You know, if you go to any corner of India, there are three major temples, or you can say all temples can be categorized into three boxes. That's it. They are called Vaishnavites, Shaivites and Devi. All Vishnu ke avatar and Dashavatar. You will have Rama, Krishna all included. So all temples, all your traditions will be around them, or Shiva. Shiva is like Adi Devta and all those things. Of course, Shiva and the family, Ganesha bhi again. And then there was a big movement in our country. We never understand Indian social movements. The latest that we know, or maybe closer to our generation, is Rajaram Mohan Roy. Maybe Swami Vivekananda talking about women education. No, there was a big movement in this country to include women as the mainstream power. Yeah. And Navaratri, you know the celebrations? Beautiful, isn't it? The only thing I do is wear the color of the dress that my wife says on that day. So let me tell you, if there were social movements in India which we have not discovered, one of the major one was actually very powerfully the woman movement to bring back into equal terms. And there's a lot of literature available on that. I'm not going to speak on that. But the point over there that I realized, if you are running a business, even if you are a male, you should understand the female dimension and vice versa. Only woman organization, dangerous. Only male organization, completely dangerous, right? So God has created nature so beautifully. So I'll tell you two stories and stop over here. You know, women have their own strengths. So do men, right? It is not about division of labor. It's understanding what you're naturally good at. जब बच्चे को दर्द होता है मम्मी ही बुलाएगा. पापा रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता है. पापा हेल्प कर सकता है. At the same time, let me tell you, my own wife, she's an MBA in finance, doing extremely well in the corporate world. But before we went to family days, जिस दिन माँ बनूंगी, जॉब छोड़ दूंगी. Warning है या signal है? Believe me, she is enjoying her motherhood, two wonderful children, and I know that is one of the best things she could ever do to my children and to me also. And it goes the other way around also. Men, please earn more, and let the women spend. They love it. Okay, so I just want to tell you this first story, which is very important to know that, you know, men and women actually have strengths which has to be combined. It should not be you versus me. It should be you and me. and I was doing I teach in some of the universities in America. So typically हम बच्चों को क्या सिखाते हैं? Colors. The female color is and the boy's color is white. And you know how the color became pink? Are you aware of this? So this actually American professor told me, saying that men were known by the color red actually. They were fighters, right? Khun. So they can no, we need to equal to men. So we'll get one color closer to red, but thoda soft करता है. If you mix red with little bit of a white, it becomes. So that's how. So that means your starting point is only against men. अरे भैया उल्टा करो ना. So I'll tell you one instance. As I told you two, I will say and stop. The one is a company that I found in Ahmedabad, and that company actually, this is a 20-year-old story. Okay, this company is into life-saving drugs. So last stage, it could be cancer, it could be some other disease, and that's the only injection the doctor बोलता है शायद इससे बच जाएंगे. Very high costly. And the chairman told me one thing. He took me around the factory. Very interesting factory. Very high process, high quality. एक injection 50,000 का उस जमाने में था. So I said, what is the critical thing about your business? Chanakya, no? So उसमें हमको बोलता ना critical thing क्या है? So he said something very nice. For us, quality cannot be compromised at all because it's the last stage, right? Highly regulated है, वो सब है, लेकिन we can't make a mistake. Then I asked him, how do you ensure it? So बोलता come, I'll show you the factory. So बोलता there are different departments. You can do manufacturing, right from raw material to quality assurance. So that every department we have, male and females, but there is one department where only females. So the HR है, क्या बोलते हैं HR नहीं है, finance है क्या वो भी नहीं है, quality assurance. And then he took me around and showed me something very interesting. And he said, here the woman may not be highly educated technically, and that is not my requirement. After all the injections are made, they go through the actual process of understanding the quality of it. So computer says all tick. So 500 parameters, everything okay. But the woman, the quality control department can reject it after that also. So I said, why is it? No, we have realized that there is a sense. कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. क्या है मैं बता नहीं सकती. And we have found this when women reject it. Later on, something logically come out. We may not know it at the moment. Even I as a chairman cannot refuse something which is technically approved but rejected by women. This 20-year-old story. 2 months ago, I was in Ahmedabad again doing a program, and I found the chairman's wife in that program. And when they asked him, साहब जी किधर है? बोलते नहीं अभी वो नहीं आ रहे. बोलते क्या कर रहे हैं आज क्या? बोलते enjoy कर रहे हैं. मतलब कि आप जहाँ वहाँ? नहीं. We sold our company for 500 crores. Imagine because of pandemic, some companies had the benefit, right? So a lot of foreign investors came in. That time I realized one thing, that sometimes woman may not be able to logically tell you. That doesn't mean she's illogical. There is something which we need to discover. And the last example that I want to give you is from the Ramayana. How many of you know the great hero called as Ravana? Yeah, of course, we love Ram, and we celebrated Dasara, where Ram ne Ravan ko mara. But many of us don't know that Ravan's father was actually a rishi, and Ravan's grandfather actually is Brahmaji. So he comes from the Rishi Kula, even though he also came from the Rakshas Kula. Anyway, the story goes like this: that one of the smartness of Ravan was woman empowerment. You might wonder kya hai? So two things. In Ramayana, you'll be surprised. It is said that the whole Lanka was Sone ki Lanka, right? But who was the main protector? The chief security officer, defense minister, chief security officer was a lady called as Lankini. So imagine, so his strength was he understood where to place women at the right place at the right time. That's management, right? And they said about Hanuman when he went, and that time he had this siddhis, Ashta siddhis, he can become big, small. So when he was entering Lanka, he became like a mosquito. But जैसे अंदर घुस रहे थे, इसने पकड़ लिया, लंकिनी, कहाँ जा रहे हो? तो इतना छोटा दिखता है कि उधर सब कुछ दिखता है. So my request to all the women entrepreneurs, especially you can see 25 stories, but I don't want to say it's only 25 part 2. There will be many more stories to come. Please be proud about your achievements, and let me tell you, don't stop marketing yourself. इंडिया में बोला गया था ना अभी तक कि काम करो बताओ मत, काम करो और ज्यादा बताओ. It is a generation of marketing. Of course, we should not overdo it because that becomes extreme. But if you don't show off, there are countries which do nothing and show off. Isn't it true? So please be proud of yourself and you have to be a role model. In fact, one of my students called me up and said, मुझे दिखाने को अच्छा नहीं लगता, बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगना चाहिए. Never show off something which you have not done. But if you have done something, learn from the Britishers. They actually documented everything. Isn't it true? That's one of the strengths also. I don't like the British because they rooted us to a level that even today, after 4 generations, we are still suffering. But the reality is that they are good in the administration. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. And India is now providing administration to the world through technology. Isn't it true? So everything is shifting into technology. So you have a role to play, be it technology company, be it manufacturing company, be it, what you said so nicely, there is no going to be homemakers anymore. And let me tell you very frankly, अगर कोई लड़का हो, अभी लड़की ढूंढने का जनरेशन खत्म हो गया, लड़का ढूंढो. And the discussion you should have, especially among the mothers over here, is that वो मेरी बेटी के लायक है क्या? Otherwise, I found I feel so guilty. It's almost like a performance. I'm ready for marriage. Why should the girl perform? गाने को दिखाओ, चल के दिखाओ. All social evils, isn't it true? So we have come to a particular point where I say, yes, woman empowerment is important. I come from a family which is called the Nair community in Kerala, and I don't know whether you are aware of it. आज भी लड़का शादी करके लड़की के घर पे जाके रहता है और उसे घर जमाई नहीं बोलते. And I can tell you my own family. My father got married and came into my mother's house. It's not an outside story. So woman empowerment is not my subject. My subject is beyond woman, beyond gender, and of course let's also not forget spirituality in business. So we have both Hari and Bhavesh and their wives here. Maybe next book should be written by both of you. Let this husband be out.
I wrote it.
हो गया ना देखो. Thank you, Hari. It's always a joy to share. I won't limit over here because we have a lot of other programs. But on a very serious note, with the BSE platform that we have some friends from BSE also here. Look, it's very, very important to document your success story. Undocumented, your experience is lost. Undocumented experience is wonderful work. Volume 2 is done. I look for volume 5, 6, and many more stories to come. It's a path to success, and please take lots of money. This is what Chanakya says. Thank you so much.
So, first of all, thanks for that very inspiring talk, Radhakrishnan ji, and also thank you so much for giving a testimonial for our book. Can I request Amisha ji to please felicitate Dr. Radhakrishnan? Let's keep the applause coming, please. सर लड़के लोग भी परफॉर्म करते हैं सर. जब हम कॉलेज में थे ना, इम्प्रेस करने के लिए सब परफॉर्मेंस किया. गाना भी गाया, डांस भी किया, रेफरेंस भी मांगे, सब किया, लेकिन काम नहीं हुआ सर. बाद में हुआ सर. Okay, so we are now the big moment is still some time away now, the unveiling of volume 2. But before that, we will have a crisp and a very wonderful panel discussion for which I'm going to invite some amazing people onto stage now. So we'll have to limit the time a little bit because we're running behind schedule. So first of all, I would like to invite Neeta ma'am. Please join us on stage. And, once once I call them on stage, then of course I'll introduce all of them. Sunita ji I've already introduced, thank you so much. Next I would like to invite the owner and joint managing director of Prabhudas Niladhar, Ms. Amisha Vora. And Amisha ji has played a very important role for our book Eves Against the Odds. She has been a great support even for organizing this event. And she has given us a very special write-up for our book. And Amisha ji's experience spans over 35 years, and there are so many accolades to her name. But she's a public personality. You can always know more about her through the public platforms. But one of the things I find so interesting, and I thought I should highlight this, she has been recognized by the Economic Times as one of the most promising women leaders in 2021. It speaks a lot about her commitment to what she's doing, and she knows a thing or two about stocks. Right? And she knows how to drive the capital, the capitalism. Thank you so much for being with us. The next person I would like to invite on stage as part of this panel discussion is Amisha ji has also written a special write-up for a book, as I said. One of our Eves, Archana Khosla Burman, she is the founding partner of Vertical Partners. Guys, the tea and snacks are at stake. So we will keep clapping. Yeah, and these are very special ladies on the dais. Archana ji, she's the founder, partner of Vertices Partners, and she's helping a lot of organizations with legal support, with advising them on their legal affairs, along with her husband Vinayak Burman. I'm really missing him because I remember last time I was hosting a program and I requested him to cut short the panel discussion. He said, once I get the mic only, I will end it. So don't give me those briefs. And in 2018, Insight's Success featured Archana ji in the top 10 powerful women lawyers of the country. So that's an extraordinary achievement. The next lady I would like to now invite, she's come all the way from Dubai, Ms. Charul Jetli, one of our Eves again. She is featured in our volume 2, the co-founder and managing partner of Matiti Group. She is a very versatile personality, serial entrepreneur, doing various things, speaker, and it's very fascinating to see how she has built up her Matiti Group. Very fascinating. And Charul, it's such a delight. We connected on Zoom, but it's such a delight to see you face to face and to have you with us today. Now, I would like to invite the lady who's going to, who's a powerhouse, and she's also going to moderate this discussion. So, best of luck that you have to moderate a discussion with such powerful women. Ms. Divya Momaya, she's the founder and director of Mentor My Board Advisors Private Limited. She is also one of our Eves in the book, and along with Amisha ji, she's been a great support for this project. What is very interesting is at the Bombay Stock Exchange, she recently held a very big conference which was presided over by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji. So that goes to show the kind of hard work that's gone into putting it all together. We're going to have a panel discussion now, and then we're going to do the big moment, which is the launch of the book. And after that, it will be available for sale. So you're expected to buy. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just taking a leaf out of Mr. Pillai. Okay. So this discussion is going to be about women entrepreneurship. What are the perspectives and perceptions? So Divya ji, it's over to you.
Thank you so much.
Like a hand.
So, indeed, pleasure to have you all here with us. And as the topic, the book is all about women entrepreneurship. I would like to have. So, I would like to have one perspective from you all, because we are talking of the perspectives every one of you about what is the one perspective you have seen when you have interacted with women entrepreneurs and you yourself being women entrepreneurs. So what is that one perspective you would like to throw to the audience? So I would go with I would like to believe that the number of women I have interacted with who wanted to enter the business field, I have interacted basically with two different sets of people. One set of women who were thrown into entrepreneurship because of marriage, because of heredity, because of they belonging to the industrial houses. But I always held it on to them and I said, okay, something is being offered to you on the platter, but you better make some good sense out of it. And most of the women have caught on, they learned on the way, and they have made great successes of themselves as entrepreneurs. And the second were those girls and ladies who walked out of IITs, IIMs, colleges, and they wanted to make a success of their lives by doing something which they really believed in. I would say the going was not easy for both the sets of the people. A lot of them succeeded, a lot of them took a long time to succeed, and some of them also failed. But it doesn't mean that when they failed, they stayed there. They rose up again. So as far as entrepreneurship goes, it is in your blood. It is in your ambition. If you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, then you're destined to work for somebody. But a lot of women are cut out for this kind of a role. Whether you inherit it, whether you create it, that is the perspective I have. And once you are thrown in the hot waters, everybody learns to swim one way or the other. That's what I believe.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amisha. Your perspective on women entrepreneurship.
Hi everyone, thank you for your time. I think entrepreneurship is all about self-belief. Whenever you start, and whatever you start, self-belief is the key to entrepreneurship. And the second most important thing which has to marry your dreams is your perseverance. You just can't leave the path you chose. You will just keep walking, and walking. So I think that self-belief, dreams, bigger dreams, and perseverance is one of the key aspects of entrepreneurship applicable to both men and women equally. There's no difference in that. And only thing which perception is about women entrepreneurship, I wouldn't say that women are stopped from being entrepreneur by society, by the way we have been brought up. It's more by our own perceptions. It is more by the limitations we set to ourselves, and we don't probably take that every next step that we need to take. So I think it's all about this perception that we need to bring.
Thank you so much. Yes, Archana.
Hello everyone. I totally resonate with a thought by Hillary Clinton, which basically says a very famous saying that women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent. Untapped, of course, because of the lack of opportunities, because of age-old conditionalities, because of what women have gone through. Having said that, even if you look at statistics, and really that's really my perspective is here, that women, if there is no equal representation, whether it's on the board, whether it's in the workforce or in entrepreneurship, if there is that equal representation not there, and GDP is going to suffer. There's not going to be the economic upturn as well. Like I think Vinitaji also mentioned some time back, both men and women are equal. They both come with their own skill sets. And I think we have enough and more statistics, including surveys by Harvard Business School, where it is very clear that both come up with their own skill sets. Women are natural multitaskers. They collaborate very well. They are brilliant leaders. And if they don't form a part of the workforce, I think as an economy we are going to suffer. So my perspective is very clearly that women are very powerful. It's just that thought, the inhibitions, I think, which is what women need to get over. Because they've grown up in a certain way. And of course there are unconscious biases even today, while we are in this modern day and age. But even today, so many times you hear very successful women being referred to just as somebody's wife, or thinking okay, if there is a child, it's automatically the woman's responsibility to handle the child. So these are all perceptions, right, which need to change because both are working equally strongly for growing a venture or at any workforce. So that's really my thought process around women entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much, Ashna. So yes, over to you, Char.
Hi everyone. Are you listening to us? I for one, I was up till 3 in the morning, woke up at 8 and if I'm here, I'm sure you can be awake. I think for me, woman entrepreneurship, empowerment, diversity, inclusivity, I've just heard and seen so much of it in the last few years. I've come to a point where my perspective and my action is very clear that it needs to be more than just the lip service. We can just sit in places like these and listen to some incredible speakers that we've heard already. We can travel around the world and listen to some great gurus who give us a lot of gyan on this matter. But what are we doing about it? What are we doing in our day-to-day life to bring about that change? And what got me thinking is really, you all have phones. You can choose to look at it, but I hope not now. If you just Google the role of women in society, not just India, you will see the definition that comes up is cooking, cleaning, and babysitting. And it just, I'm not angry or appalled by it because I'm not a 20-year girl anymore, but when the sense prevails, you come to see what the ground reality is. And when your little boy or girl who has just started to go to school goes on Google, which they all have access to, and they start to read the role of a mother or a father, not just in Indian society. I don't want to call ourselves out because it's not about India. It's a global, let's say, stigma. Not only just that, do some simple researches on Google, about women, and I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. And then, of course, you go on to very important stats like what is the percentage of CEOs, which is represented by female. Does anybody want to take a guess? You can cheat. Yeah, ma'am, I have to disappoint you. It's below 10%. Yeah. I would go with her word because she sits in the government. The Google tells me it's 9%, but ma'am, we'll take your word for it. But still, do you think that's enough? Do you guys think it's enough? We don't have to be here to tell you that, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, in my perspective on this matter is, we all are born stars, men and women, children alike, and everybody else who, you spoke about as different characters with different preferences. Everybody has that spark, and I encourage all of you all to let your light shine because you were born with that gift. You were born with that passion that you have for something that somebody who's sitting next to you does not have for, right? And let that be your reason to become an entrepreneur. Your entrepreneurship journey could be that I'm going to raise my son different than how my mother-in-law raised my husband. That's a business enough, believe you me, and by doing that you're changing the world. So I can really give you a lot, but I think I want you to start to bring about the change in how you see as you being the contributor, as a woman entrepreneur, not just in businesses and big things around the world, but in your little households, with your little children, with your little gang of friends that you hang out with. And if we start to do that, believe you me, we are changing the world. Thank you very much.
Indeed, today in India we constitute 48% of the population, 48% population, and our contribution to the Indian economy definitely is going to take India on the very faster pace of growth. Now, Vinita ji, my question to you is, you have been, one question which I had thought of for you, you have already answered it in your speech. But one thing which I want to understand, being the bureaucrat yourself and being, representing the government, you spoke about the schemes which are brought for the women. Now, I want to know how is the awareness when women entrepreneurs, especially, who are there to take the benefit, जिनके लिए आप schemes बनाते हो, तो वो schemes तक वहाँ तक पहुँचती है, नहीं पहुँचती है, और नहीं पहुँचती तो क्यों नहीं पहुँचती है? So one message if you would like to give on that part.
You see, I'll go back to my initial point. When I say that the only key to development and only key to progress is education.
I would say ये schemes उन सब ladies तक पहुंचती हैं जो उनको ढूंढना चाहती हैं. Nothing comes on a platter to anybody. तो जो उन schemes को ढूंढना चाहते हैं, जो उन schemes को के साथ में जाना चाहते हैं, वो लोग will definitely find it. They definitely find it. So I have women who come to my office who send me mails because our numbers, our emails are all there on the net. So random people, random women call me, ask me, seek me for guidance. So I would say कि जिनको जरूरत है और जिनमें भूख बहुत ज्यादा है, उनको सबको पता चलता है. लेकिन कुछ ऐसे हैं जो फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, शायद उनको ये सब बातें नहीं पता चलती हैं. उनके लिए we try to reach out to them, but of course government is not reaching to the last mile. Certain section of people we do reach, not everybody comes within our ambit. जिसको हम ये सब बता पाते हैं. And yes, as she has rightly pointed out, there are certain women who, in spite of the knowledge, are not able to do anything because there are stereotypes and issues like marriages and all those things working against them. आज भी है वो situation. कहीं पे तो वो situation है. But then I would say Rome was not built in a day. The generational gap of about 500 years is not Mughal period से जो subjugation शुरू हुआ है. I would say कि Mughal period से हुआ. You'll hear me out because ancient India was and the tribal culture of the country and the women entrepreneurs were very much a common thing in ancient India. It is only the medieval India where this entrepreneurship spirit got killed. Last 500 years की legacy के लिए 70 साल कम है. But I would say another 30 years, another 2 generations, because 10 साल में एक generation खड़ी हो जाती है, तैयार हो जाती है. In 20 to 30 years, we will break many shackles, and I think we'll almost be there. I choose to be optimistic about it, and I choose to be very positive in this because I see change happening every day. I'll give you a very छोटा सा simple sa example. I was CEO of a Zilla Parishad. The place doesn't matter. And उस time पे 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments came, and the Gram Panchayat Acts and the local ULBs, urban local bodies में women participation was made compulsory. And then suddenly 33% reservation came and the new sarpanches were elected. Sarpanches were totally a male domain in the village area, and the urban local bodies, your chairpersons and your adhyaks of your corporations. Suddenly women were voted. So what the men came up with a very brilliant idea कि मैं नहीं तो मेरी पत्नी से हम लोग rubber stamps create कर देंगे. Believe me, we were the CEOs. We were at that point of time here in Maharashtra with 26 districts there. We were 6 women CEOs. बाकी rest were all men. We took it upon ourselves and we got all the newly elected women sarpanches. And 5 years we hammered them. पढ़ो सीखो, पढ़ो सीखो, पढ़ो सीखो. We hammered them so much. At one point of time, when the sarpanch pati, as we used to call them, sarpanch pati would come and talk to me, I would tell him to shut up and get lost. I would say, I'm not talking to you because you have no business talking to me. Only the lady who is the sarpanch will talk to me. And this became a trend. And believe me, after 5 years, those ladies were coming and fighting with me. This is our right, why are we not getting it? We created leaders out of illiterate women in 5 years. This the whole country will change. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. So my next question is to Amisha ji. Amisha ji, you have been into the financial industry for so long. Now, how has been your experience dealing with women clients? And I know I keep listening that women are not very good in managing their own finances. So what has been your experience when you get women entrepreneurs who are handling their own money? So I would like to know your perspective on that.
So to start with, they say, I'm in a male-dominated industry.
Absolutely.
So meeting women is not as frequent as one would think. But what I've really met more is some of the FII money which was managed by women. And of course, one of my very dear friend and somebody on my board is also Punita Kumar Sinha. She's also a woman and manages money. And the difference which I find, or the added point that they bring on the table, is I always say, people make jokes that बहुत सवाल करती है, wife बहुत सवाल करती है, लड़कियां बहुत सवाल करती है, women बहुत सवाल करती है. But when it comes to business, it gives so many perspectives and the ability to decide between the risk and return of different proposition. Over my experience, what I feel is men tend to jump to conclusions, decisions faster, while women always ask more questions, more questions, more questions. So more questions brings more perspective, more idea about what could be the risk of a particular decision, and that saves business. So one more statistic I would add, the women CEOs are only 7 or 9%, whatever it may be. One of the studies shows that when a company, some of the large corporations which are run by women, they tend to be more profitable than the ones which are run by men. Across, though we are representing only 7 or 9%, they are more profitable. So same, one other thing which I would like to connect with this question is that women are also very good, they can make very good investors, because I come from the business which helps people convert their savings into wealth. Let your money earn for you. And I think women are not participating enough in that. They're not creating enough awareness and knowledge for themselves that they can contribute this the best. As always, they are very good at, as what I say, risk, return and diligence. Women's decisions are generally very diligent decisions. So when they will take up to investments or the journey of converting their savings into wealth, I think they will do very well. Both these are even more minority than this 9% CEO percentage. And I also address a lot of young entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, not generally the startups, but they professionals. But even they have not started this journey of thinking how their money can work for themselves. Investing into equities, very, very important, but that percentage is still very low. So I think that they make very good, but there is a lot that they can do for themselves in terms of investments.
Okay, so thank you so much for this perspective, ma'am. I know I very good at this.
As an aside, I need to tell only one. I'll take just 1 minute for it. अगर किसी को भी women और उनकी financial capabilities पे 1% भी शक है, तो go back to that moment, not very far away in history. Just then 8th of November, 3 years ago, मोदी साहब ने अपने नोटबंदी अनाउंस करी थी. Tell me a household जिसमें से housewife या lady ने पैसा निकाल के अपने husband को बोला हो कि ये पैसा भी तुम चेंज करा दो या ये भी बैंक में डिपॉजिट करा दो. Show me a single woman who did not take out money from her kitchen. Not a single Indian household had it. And I can tell you, my own friend went to the High Court when the government said that everybody has to declare their wealth. My own friend went to the High Court and got an order against the government saying, my wealth which I have earned from my Stridhan, which was given to me by my parents, my in-laws, at the time of my wedding, is my personal property and nobody has access to it, including my husband. I am not liable to declare it to the government, and the government had to bow down. Supreme Court said Stridhan belongs only to the woman. So never challenge the capability of a woman regarding money.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. So my next question is to Archana. Archana, you had a legal firm. And so let me ask you a question on your perspective towards women when it comes to protecting their legal rights. Being an entrepreneur, I'm not talking about the legal rights of women, but when they're entrepreneurs, how has been your experience dealing with women clients versus men clients when they are entrepreneurs, basically?
So rightly said, there is no difference between a man and a woman entrepreneur when we look at legal rights or legal protections. So as an entrepreneur, be it a man or a woman, you have the same palpitations, the same challenges, right from the time you set up your entity, whether you're going to set it up as an LLP or a private limited company, sole proprietorship, to going on to having co-founder agreements, because you need to make sure that you have all the necessary protections in place, to the kind of agreements which you enter into with vendors. There should be no indemnification obligations on an entrepreneur. When an investor comes on the cap table of the entrepreneur, there are a bunch of rights which the investor would be asking for, including sometimes looking at personal assets of the entrepreneur. So we have to make sure that those are protected. terms of what are the experiences, I would say, see, both men and women entrepreneurs, when it comes to legalities, are actually unaware of how things go around. So as a legal counsel to them, it's our job to protect their interests. Now, having said that, there are also a lot of schemes, of course, which are available to women, right? So be it in terms of schemes available in terms of loans being provided or certain financial aspects. So, there's so much protection which is provided to entrepreneurs in general. And even for people, entrepreneurs who are coming out with proof of concept in terms of entry-level barriers, there's a lot of finance being available by banks. There are so many accelerator programs which have come out with. I'm personally heading the startup cell of Fiki Flow at a national level where we are empowering women, right from helping them as a woman entrepreneur to in terms of understanding their business, to skilling them, to helping them get funded, helping them prepare the business plans, mentoring them. We have a founder support program in terms of legalities, taxation, accounting. So women get that entire gamut of help, including making a lot of women understand the asset class of investment. So we help women become investors as well, because that is something which, while they are interested in, but they don't really understand that asset class. So taking them through those training programs, helping them understand where to invest, those are certain key things. And women always have questions, right? And even when we have our mentorship sessions, which is great, because when there are questions, that's when they can get the answers to it. So we spend a lot of time in training them, and I think this is the perfect time for any woman entrepreneur, because there's so much support within the ecosystem which is being provided to them.
Thank you so much. My last question to Charu, and then I'll have last question to everyone. So Charu, I would like to know your experience. So about perception. So what people had when you started your entrepreneurship journey, and after being successful today, what has been the perception? How the perception has changed if you look at it. So a brief share on that.
I would need more than 2 minutes for that. I will try and pack it as quickly as we can. First, I have to say I'm so happy to be here. My women rights, my money in stocks, and my legal matters are now taken care of. So look at the strength we have here, right? So look, I'm talking about perceptions. I think everyone's journey is going to be very unique, but I think we can take a lot of pride in drawing inspiration from each other, and that's the purpose of this book. That's the purpose of this evening today, right? And us standing and representing the 25 authors on the little stand-up banner that we have there today. I'll give you an example. This happened less than 12 months ago. So I was, anybody knows Saifi Hospital around here? Yeah. I was in Saifi Hospital, admitted, recovering after a 10-hour-long surgery. That was 19th of September 2021. It was a life-altering surgery, if I may say that. My chances of living were very slim. My family was panicking, and there was this part of me, and I think that's where the switch happens, right? I was fearless. I just knew if I've come so far, there's going to be something more exciting for me from here. And if this is the end of the road, I want to grab the bull by the horn and do it happily, right? And guess what? Today is what? 8th of October, so we're just a little over a year. I'm standing here. Again, it's a long story, and I would compel you to read the book for that. But I ended up winning Mrs. UAE International, which was not on the charter. I won it within 40 days of me coming out of the surgery. How did that happen? Miraculously. After that, I was on the front page of Gulf News. I've co-authored 2 books. I'm writing my 3rd book. A lot of inspiration from people like you both here and many other people that I've had the chance to interact with. The point I'm trying to convey is, if I can do it, so can you. And the point really is to not give up, right? And failure, I'm reminded of Nelson Mandela, of all people right now. He says you never fail. You either win or you learn. And my part of the journey was learning. The winning happened later, right? First you learn. And learning is not a destination in itself, right? It's a journey. And no matter how old I am, I think there's going to be immense learning for me here onwards as well. I've learned so much from the panel today. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. You spoke some great things, Mr. Radhakrishna Pillai. And I'm sure, I hope, if not from me, from one of us, you take away 1 or 2 things key message for women entrepreneurs here who have featured, who will be featuring, and to the authors here, Hariharan and Bhavesh. So, over to you, Vinita ji. One key message.
There is no key message. The key message is only one. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Do it, learn it, do it again and again and again till you make it. And nobody defines your success, your failures, your journey but yourself. You are a success till you are standing. You are a success till you are working hard, till you are trying to achieve your dreams. And somebody much, much superior to me intellectually once told me when I was very young that God is not a sadist. He will never give you anything which you are not capable of achieving. So my only message is, if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Nisha ma'am. So she summed it up very well, and in the interest of time and the way I believe, dream big, pursue, achieve. Amazing. Thank you. Over to you, Archie.
I would say for entrepreneurs, keep educating yourself, keep networking, keep upping your game, because every day there is something new to learn. Even when just a small background, even when through my journey from struggle to success, and now as a friend of mine says, from success to significance, where you're trying to make a difference. I think that is what everyone should keep aiming at.
Amazing. Yes, Chan.
Okay, my message is to all the women out there, and the men can take inspiration if you like, is, for me, a real queen is the one who fixes others' crown without letting the world know that it was crooked. So let's fix each other's crowns. Let's be there for each other. And I'm sure we'll be
That's really wonderful. Thank you so much, each one of you. And I would also like to, just share that, and the perspective, what people see, and when people, when you achieve. And Amisha ma'am, you would, know the journey, what I have gone through from a piece of paper, creating the entire concept, and today when FM comes to the event. So it's about the perception, but most important thing, as Amisha ma'am also mentioned, believing in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, the world automatically believes in you. So I think that's my, key take on it. And thank you, Bhavesh, thank you, Hariharan, for this wonderful opportunity of creating the book, for bringing out those amazing stories of women entrepreneurs. And I wish you all the success. And I look forward to see the 10th series very soon.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this discussion.
I thank you so much. I request the panel to just stay back for a minute. We were planning the 3rd series. Radhakrishnan Pillai took it to 6th. We have taken it to 10th. Thank you. So please fill in the gaps. So thank you so much for an inspiring session, and I would like to welcome Dr. Anjana Vinod. Thank you for joining us. She's one of our leads featured in our volume 2. And आप लेडीज की शान में एक बात कहना चाहूँगा. एक शेर है. मुझे पता नहीं किसने लिखा है, मेरा फेवरेट है. And it's for all the ladies present here, and all for the resilient people in this world. आज बादलों ने फिर साजिश की. आज बादलों ने फिर साजिश की. जहाँ मेरा घर था वहीं बारिश की. जहाँ मेरा घर था वहीं बारिश की. अगर फलक को जिद है बिजलियां गिराने की, अगर फलक को जिद है बिजलियां गिराने की, तो हमें भी जिद है वहीं पर आशिया बनाने की. So, one of the most inspiring things for us was to write the introduction to volume 2. So I really want all of you to read that, because it was so inspiring to write that, because we finished volume 1, within a year we brought out volume 2, and as you can see, the size, the look, the feel, everything has changed a little bit. It's got upgraded. Not because we did a dishonest job with volume 1, just that it's a learning process. Right? So we learned more, and we were able to bring out a fatter edition, if I might say so, in terms of the curation, in terms of the number of pages, and also I think the publisher has upgraded the quality of the paper also. So all in all, and we are very proud. We are very proud about people featured in volume 1, because they set the base for us, and for all of them who are now part of Volume 2. Now quickly we move ahead before the big moment comes. Just want to announce that Starfit is serving the beverage for us today. So they are back at the counter. So thank you so much for your support. So nobody please leaves till the end of this event. Yeah, please stay back. And because we want you to be there right till the end. We have many more interesting things coming up. Not many more, few interesting things coming up. I don't want to scare you guys. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to invite Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai and Meenal Kothari to please felicitate the panel here. So can we please begin with Vinita ma'am, please? Can you please felicitate Vinita ma'am? Have a round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Amisha Voraji. Guys, please keep clapping. You feel more hungry, you can eat better. Archana Kuswa Burman. Please felicitate us now. Can we have a round of applause for the wonderful cards shared by all the ladies here? Charul Jetli. And of course, to the lady who did the Harsha Bhogle type of job today, Divya Mumbai. Thank you, Divya, so much. I request the panel to please stay back. Job not yet done. We want to ensure you work hard. Yeah. So it's the time for the unveiling of Eves Against the Odds Volume 2. Dr. Radhakrishnan, I would request you to join us back on stage along with Meenal Kothari. And also I would request all the Eves who have been featured in the book to please be along with us on the stage. Yeah, Anjana Vinod, Mamta Kothari, Shambhavi, Meena Tilakraj. Yeah, so I hope I'm not missing out on any names. So all those who have been Vijaya Pulkeji, Nafisa Kotwal, Navamita, yes. I mean, please, pardon me for this sort of names. Whoever has been part of the book in both the series. Both the series. Yes.
We have a small stage.
Oh, Tejal, when did Tejal come? Yes. Guys, I need to remind you I'm the co-author and I need some space to stand on stage. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Sir. Ma'am?
I'm so sorry, but if I don't do it, my boss is going to.
Oh, ऐसे?
पीछे ये लोग यार
You ready?
Don't cover your face. Don't cover your face. Don't cover your face.
Don't cover your face. You can still look after.
काट रही है, बोल रही है.
Yes. Please wait. Wait. Yes. Please wait.
I took a video and a photo.
Wait.
Let's make some noise.
One more, please wait. Thank you.
Avesh, you want to announce? We will do that. We just stay for 5 minutes. So we are ending it. Yeah, we are closing. March would better.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we are going to end this event in the next 5 minutes. And of course, open the sale counter. And Bhavesh? Okay, so in the interest of time also, and also that you've been around for so long with us, thank you so much for that. So we'll kind of speed up towards the closure. But just a couple of important announcements that we want to make. One is you can get an autographed copy from the authors, and both volume 1 and 2 are priced MRP at 249, but we are keeping it at a special price of just 200 per copy. So you could pick up both at 200 each, or you could pick up any one volume, whichever works. Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
I ask you, how do I make money? You don't know that? Okay, all your books are sponsored by me today. For all those people who have not got the book, please take it, bill it to me. I'll tell you the reason why. Book launch is not book selling, but after you buy, if you have money, please purchase 10 more books. The first copy is sponsored. Thanks for the discount. So pick up 1 or 2 copies from my side. Believe me, it's not about book. It's about reading the book and taking it forward. So all your first copies are sponsored by me. Thank you.
नहीं, आप वो रिफंड नहीं हो सकता. राधा कृष्ण जी ने बताया कि अभी बताया। Thank you, sir. Thank you. What an amazing gesture. Thank you so much. So, we actually had to do as per the plan, we had to do a fireside chat between the authors. We are skipping that also. But with the permission of the audience here, I would just like to take a minute also to talk about our journey of curating these two books. And I remember a few years ago when I was attending one of the startup summits, and I think I was listening to Revati Roy's story, on whom a film is also being made now. So, and it was a very inspiring story. And then we came up with this thought: why not curate stories of women entrepreneurs from across the country and across the globe? Why not showcase it in the form of a book? So this idea was planted about 5 years ago, and then the pandemic happened, things slowed down, and thus Eves Against the Odds was born. And it's been fantastic. And as we write in the preface also, it's a purely selfish effort for us because we are getting some inspiration for free. You know, we are not only curating 25 stories per volume, we are actually reading a lot more than that. And then we are picking up the best ones for the moment, and then probably we'll come back to the other ladies a little later. So I think it's a great honor for us to be curating this book, this series. And it's fantastic that within a year we have managed to, by the grace of God, we have managed to do 2 volumes. Many more in the pipeline, including global editions. So we are looking forward to support from the ladies out here. Help us put it all together. You can refer to us the kind of women that you think should feature in the next volume. So keep your ears and eyes open and refer to us. Now, from a leverage perspective, how do you women who are featured in the book can leverage this? Many of them have already bought about 20-25 copies, which they are gifting to their clients. I would urge you to not restrict it to 20-25. I'm saying pick up 50 copies, pick up 100 copies. Bhavesh, we will help us order, those number of books. The reason for that is, yes, it's mathematics or statistics that the number of books sold goes up. That's a different matter altogether. What I'm saying, from your perspective, it's a leverage. I mean, I hope somebody someday will feature me in a book. I'm going to go crazy announcing to the world that I'm featured in a book. I think it's a great space to be in. It's an amazing space to be in. It's an amazing honor, and it's not a small platform. It's a really good growing platform. It's a credible platform. So you got that exposure. Invest that little bit of time, money, energy in picking up those many copies and giving it to all your clients and telling them, I have been featured in this book. It helps you grow your business further. It helps you leverage your position in a bigger way. And even if you look at it from a mathematical perspective, from an ROI perspective, we are all entrepreneurs, so we talk about ROI. So even from an ROI perspective, the small investment might give you much bigger returns in terms of the business contacts that you create or the business that you get out of, just sharing this story. And I completely agree with Dr. Pillai when he said, please say it very loudly and clearly that you have been featured, and you are part of a book. And touch wood, God bless, this will become a very big brand one day, and I'm sure that many women would want to be featured in the book. Right now, we are asking for the stories, but I think the day is not very far when a lot of stories will start coming to us. And I say this with a lot of humility. Yeah, it's already happening. It's already happening. In fact, we keep getting messages why my story can't be featured in the book. So it's not about, we are not nobody to judge anyone. So when we curated the stories, we looked at a couple of elements. One was how long has a business has been for. You look at the longevity also. Second is what is the depth of learning from that story. When Charul shared about her life-threatening surgery that she had to go through, it's very inspiring. We have Dr. Anjana Vinod, who is a breast cancer coach. She's a one-of-a-kind coach, and she's a TEDx speaker. Incidentally, I'm meeting her for the first time, though we have known each other for quite some time now. And she's a TEDx speaker. And you know, there are some incredible stories. Meena ji is 70 years young, and you look at her energy, it's incredible. I mean, and you know, that is the kind of stories we have been able to go. Pardon me, I'm not taking everybody's name here. I'm just giving some examples. We had Chandni Khan from the first volume. She's risen from the slums, and today she's contributing back to educating children from the slums. It's an incredible story, you know, and so it's not about rags to riches at all. We're not looking at it's not a Bollywood film that we are trying to make here. It's not about rags to riches. It's about sensitivity. It's about people who have fought against the odds, you know, in this male-dominated society as it keeps coming up. And also, I think as men, we are very happy to be part of a more inclusive culture. This is our way of, you know, creating more inclusiveness. And it's not about man or woman. It's just about any good person who's got some credentials and who's ready to fight through in life and, you know, and make something happen. It could be a man or a woman, but we obviously need to encourage women because the percentage of representation in terms of success or what they're capable of contributing to society is tremendous. And we just want to be a catalyst there. And there is also, Dr. Pillai spoke about the transgenders, for example. Now we are a changing society. And I remember a conversation we had in my house one day, and we were referring to a film which is about the LGBTQ community. And I said, oh, this picture is about the LGBTQ? My daughter immediately stopped me and asked me, why did you react like that? You know, I mean, if it was a normal love story or a normal male-female hero-heroine story, you would not have reacted like that. Then why did you react like that? She immediately corrected me and stopped me. Now you see, that's the beauty of the millennial generation. They are far more evolved, they are far more inclusive in the way they are looking at things. And we definitely want to look at maybe a millennial entrepreneurs edition of women entrepreneurs who are in their 20s. And there are many startups who are doing an amazing amount of job. So to cut a long story short, just to keep it crisp, it's very inspiring and the journey has just started. There are series and series of books that are going to come out. Eves Against the Odds is not just an event. You know, I think it's a story that is developing itself. It's unfolding itself, and I will be getting in touch with all of you for launching our dream project, which is the EQ, the Eves Entrepreneurship Excellence Academy. There's a lot of work to be done there. We want to formally give a platform for women entrepreneurs to come and learn and grow. Some of you would be a faculty in that. You know, you could share your perspectives, your journey. We want to train them. Let's not only feature women entrepreneurs who are successful, let's create those successful women entrepreneurs. You know, I think that's the next level to which simultaneously we want to go to. Thank you very much once again for having been part of this wonderful evening today. We had some great speakers, and Vinita ji, thank you so much. You know, I mean, you are such a firebrand speaker. You know, and the best thing about you is the way you put across your thoughts, you know, without any inhibitions. And no man today dare hear counter question. And big salute and big thank you to Amisha ji, Divya for, you know, you stood like a pillar with us for this book. People ask me how long does it take to write a book. I think it takes 30 years. Because you start dreaming about it 30 years ago, then actually when you start working, between that time and the final product is maybe 12 months. So it's not actually the 12 months, it's 25 years, it's 30 years. And I want all of you to please clap for me because I'm a narcissist. But first understand why you're to clap. So Bhavesh and me, we are delighted to collaborate for this, and he has taken some giant strides as an author, and this is his second book. But I started writing as a passion long back, and this is my 9th book. So, and it's such a beautiful feeling for me every time a book comes out. It's like I've launched one more baby in my life, and it's a beautiful thing. And Dr. Radhakishan Pillai was there for one of my other book launches. Please Google Hariharan Iyer, very well-known guy on Google at least. I don't know outside. Yeah. And you can check out on Amazon Hariharan Iyer and you will find some of my books there. So it's a very proud moment. I'm sharing it out of pure joy that the 9th book has come out, and I'm working on my 10th book, and I hope to make it an event of this nature to launch my 10th book. And the money will come, things will happen. But I think one big takeaway from all the discussions today is, if you follow your passion, there is no bigger reward than that. Just the beauty, just the joy of writing, just the joy of speaking, just the joy of doing your business, just the joy of making a contribution and making a difference to society. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude now with and throw the hall open for copies to be picked up, and if you want, we are very happy to sign it for you. And of course, please do not leave without having a little snack with us and having a cup of tea. Kafi Azmi Saab wrote one nazam in the 1940s called Aurat. He was part of the Progressive Writers Association, and that segment of people like Kafi Azmi and many other writers, they were very progressive. I'm talking about 1940s. And look at the nazam he has written called Aurat, and how much he has eulogized and how much he has encouraged women to take steps forward and move in life. So I want to end this evening with some inspiring lines written by Kafi Azmi. He says that Qadar ab tak teri tareekh ne jani hi nahi. Qadar ab tak teri tareekh ne jani hi nahi. Tujhme shole bhi hai, bas ashk fishani hi nahi. Means tears in Urdu. Ashk fishani means tears. तुझमें शोले भी हैं, बस अश्क फिशानी ही नहीं. तू हकीकत भी है, दिलचस्प कहानी ही नहीं. तू हकीकत भी है, दिलचस्प कहानी ही नहीं. तेरी हस्ती भी है एक चीज, जवानी ही नहीं. तेरी हस्ती भी है एक चीज, जवानी ही नहीं. अपनी तारीख का उन्वान बदलना है तुझे. You have to change the date of your destiny. अपनी तारीख का उन्वान बदलना है तुझे. उठ मेरी जान, मेरे साथ ही चलना है. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for being with us. This is Hariharan Iyer signing off, and along with Bhavesh Kotari and the entire Millennium Divas team, can I request Jihan, Rupal, Jinal, right? Minal herself. So, Hina. Can you little children please join us? They're going to beat us up for calling them children now. But please join us on stage for helping us put it all together. Can I have a big round of applause for these wonderful kids who have done an amazing job for us. Yeah, I really deserve. And Bhavesh Kotari, please join for a photograph with this millennials. Thank you very much, and please join us, network, have some food together, let's sip a cup of tea. Yeah. So let me just go behind and pick up your stand. Thank you.